I've kind of like took the style of b-boying, of the way I did b-boying, into my drawing.
What's up? My name is Serena and I'm an artist and B-girl from Toronto. We are here at Toronto Collective to introduce Juggernauts Paving a Path. For this episode, I had the honor to interview Toronto legend Mike Del Mundo, aka Deadly Mike. We take a look into how he went from breaking in the basement to becoming one of Marvel's top comic book cover artists.
I've always been drawing since I was, kindergarten. So that one's an easy one. The breaking, I think I started around grade 7. My cousin, which is the same age as me, he had like an older sister that he just passed down all these cool things. So we were actually doing like graffiti first. And then he'd come back and be like, yo, there's this new thing. I got turntables. So we started DJing. And then the last thing was b-boying. And then yeah, we just started breaking in the basement, like during fam jams and stuff like that. And I just stuck with it. Like I just like kind of fell in love with it, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick with this. So the Deadly Mike name, yeah, that one's like super hard to answer because I can't remember when it started or whatever. I think I was just like, Deadly. It's like a stupid name kind of thing. Like it's like, no one would call himself Deadly, so I'm like, all right, I'll do it, that kind of thing. But it started off as Deadly, and then for some reason it's like, I guess my crews were like, just call me Deadly Mike, and then that's how it ended up just happening. Both drawing and breaking, I would say like they're just both similar just because I've kind of like took the style of b-boying, of the way I did b-boying, into my drawing. So if you kind of look at the way my b-boying is on footage or whatever, and you compare it to the art that I do, you'll actually, believe it or not, like see similarities. And I think a lot of it is like kind of like complexity, because I really like doing like complex things, cool tricks. I like freaking styles. Like I like kind of just moving on and doing something different all the time. I get bored. A lot of the people I looked up to was like Ken Swift, like Easy Rock, Maurizio, all those dudes. More like footwork, tricks, freezes. I wasn't too like, I couldn't do power moves that well. So I stuck with that. The Toronto scene was like a huge influence. They had Bag of Tricks, they had Intricate. They even brought it down to like Zeb and Dedos from the Rascals. And actually those guys are the first inspirations I had, because when we were first learning how to b-boy, we didn't have much tapes, like footage of anything really.
Right.
So we just watched much music, and the videos, the only videos we saw of b-boying was probably like Buffalo Girls with, and then there's a video by the Rascals called Really Livin'. And there's some dope moves. I think it was Zeb and Dedos, and yeah, that like literally like split-second moves that we would see, we would just kind of pause it, slow-mo it, see how they did it. That's how we learned how to do windmills and stuff like that. So those guys are a huge influence. And then Bag of Tricks, when they kind of appeared on Rap City and did their thing, and then Intricate as well. And then from there you had the Brats, Supernaturals, like those guys were all dope. So there's a good amalgamation of like really different styles in Toronto.
Right.
And that kind of helped me, like, definitely inspired me to do what I do. Migas was always like super inspiring because like you'll see like footage of him and you can't explain like what it's like, because when you practice with Migas, he makes up moves on the spot that you'll never see again. Right? So we'll be b-boying and then he'll do something like, oh, that shit's crazy. And he's like, really? Like, you know, he just made it up. Then that's it. Like, you it's like you won't see it again. So it's like kind of like a diamond in the rough.
All he did was round 16.
The transition was smooth just because b-boying at the time, I guess, to be honest, I was just, I don't know if I was getting bored or if I kind of fell out of love with it, but I just had this urge to just move on and do something new, right? So yeah, I guess the timing was right. And when I was doing design and I met a few kids with same aspirations of comics, they brought me back into that love. So, and then from there, I was like, well, I'll do the same thing I did with b-boy and just put the grind in. Basically, they hold like portfolio reviews basically at comic conventions. So if, you know, that's where people get their, well, I don't know about now, but that's where a lot of artists get their job. They'll go to comic conventions, bring their portfolio, sign up for like a portfolio review. And just luckily enough, like I signed up. I didn't even sign up. I was actually walking by the Marvel booth, and there was this line and it was finishing up, and I was like, you know, maybe I should show off my book or whatever. And then I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I went back to my booth and I was talking to my wife and I was like, they're doing a portfolio review. And she's like, you should just do it now. And I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll do it now. And I don't know, it just kind of clicked in. Went there and then they said you actually had to sign up for it. But I went in the back of the line and he was just finishing up, and I talked to CB, actually, he's the editor-in-chief of Marvel now, but at the time he was a talent manager, and he's like the guy that just could find like great artists. And I just asked him for like 2 minutes of my time, or of his time. And they seemed tired, but yeah, when I showed my book, they're, you know, they were pretty happy with the outcome, so they were just offering me jobs right there.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't know, I thought it was a kind of like, is this really how they do it? You know what I mean? Like, cause I was like pretty excited, right? A lot of the stuff that in the book wasn't even comic related. It was all kind of like fan art of like movies and pop art and stuff like that. The one thing I did show, cause they want to see sequentials, like interior work, like if you could do comics. The only comic I had at the time was a Raptors comic, an 8-page Raptors comic by, it's a story about Chris Bosh's life. That's what I showed him, and I don't know, it helped me out for sure. That was awesome. That was crazy. I'm a huge fan of like Freddie Gibbs, and especially like the Bandana album and the Pinata album, because huge fan of Madlib. And that was crazy because we did the album art. I did the album art for them, and the idea was already there. They already had the idea. Gibbs already was like, can you do it this way? And so I just did it up, and then they wanted to do a comic as well. So that was like a bonus. So it was great. They're really great to work with, and a lot of the creative, like especially with the creativity, they just had a story and they kind of let me go wild. And on top of that, I'm an Alchemist fan, so like, you know, that was it was a crazy dream. So I think I did some fan art for Mad Gibbs, right? I think it was the Pinata album or the Bandana album. I did some fan art. And he hit me up from that. And we just talked, and then eventually 2020, I think when COVID hit, that's when all this stuff started kind of coming in, work and stuff. It's a routine right now. Yeah, I got a family now, so it's like before it used to be kind of like, you know, before family, the system was just like all over the place because you had all the time in the world, right? So I put the same amount of time in my work as the time I did before, but now it's like I don't have a lot of time. So now it's more routine, and so it's just like wake up at, get the kids to school, get back at 9, and then from 9 to 3, I just work straight, and then get the kids, come back, and then maybe work another 2 hours. Oh man, Toronto's just home. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you can work like from home now, like the world is small because of the internet, and like when I work, I just work online. Like, most people that work for comics work from home and they work all over the world, right?
Right.
So I think it's just the fact that it's convenient enough that you can work, you can stay wherever you want. And so, Toronto's home, family's here.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not much of a traveler, so yeah, that's why. I think most of my challenges, which I think all you guys will relate to, is b-boying. Like b-boying is probably the biggest challenge. Not really like a challenge like, oh, like I got these setbacks, but there's so many setbacks with b-boying, and especially at the time that we were learning, there wasn't much to learn from, right? We didn't have like the YouTube to learn how to do moves. We really had to kind of like go out there and find our way, right? There's no like schools for that as well. So we were constantly like, oh, that janitor, man, like that janitor at our school, I heard he used to break in the 80s, and he was pretty good. So we would hunt down these like older cats and be like, yo, can you teach us how to break? Because that's how desperate we were to kind of like learn.
Right.
So we're constantly just like looking for like inspiration, basically, because there wasn't much. Like I said, there was like a lot of, there was just videos that we would kind of pause on, like, like the Lords of the Underground Chief Rocka video. That would be like, that'd show like split-second clips of b-boying. So we like, it kind of just like built like character in a way that like, we would find a way to if you love it enough, you'll just find a way to get there, right? I could talk even more about it, but that's, in terms of like challenges, b-boying had a lot of challenges. And if you can get really good at it and even make it just in the city itself, that'll build so much character. Like, and then when you decide to do something new, it's easy. You're just like, like I did this already, If you're a b-boy and a b-girl, you know what it's like, you know the amount of work that you put into b-boying. And so when you do choose a career, it should be an easy transition, and just take what you've applied with b-boying wherever you go, because that's what I've done, and it's worked out for me. So just the grind, and just make sure that what you choose is what you really choose, like what you truly love, because yeah, that's what's going to keep you going, right? lot of my covers are very conceptual driven. So the biggest, I think most of my time is spent on just getting the ideas out.